Welcome to the Explainer. What if you could actually hack corruption? I don't mean just finding better leaders, but building a system where stealing from the public becomes financially and politically self-destructive. Today, we're diving into a really radical economic framework that claims it can do exactly that. Fiscally suicidal. I mean, wow, that's not a phrase you just toss around, but it is the absolute core promise of an economic framework called NUPA-NG. The whole point isn't just to punish corruption after the fact. It's to completely rewrite the rules of the game so that cheating becomes the dumbest, most irrational choice you could possibly make. All right, so before we get to the fix, we have to understand what's broken. The source material calls it the Nigerian death loop, and a huge piece of that puzzle is something called federal leakage, which is basically a nice way of saying that money meant for local communities, well, it just kind of vanishes inside a big, complicated central bureaucracy. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Right now, money from resources has to flow through these central accounts. In the capital, Abuja. Every single stop along the way is a potential leak. NUPA-NG just flips the whole thing on its head. It proposes a system that's hard-coded to bypass the capital entirely. This one change turns communities from petitioners, basically begging for their own money, into direct owners. So how do you actually make a system Abuja-Proof? Well, the entire mechanism hangs on one simple but incredibly powerful idea. You split the money before anyone can get their hands on it. This right here is the engine of the entire framework. See, it's not about finding politicians you can trust. It's about building a process you can trust. When a company pays rent on local land, 80%, a full 80% of that cash is automatically wired straight into a community land trust. Think of it like a local bank account that the community itself helps manage. And here's the magic trick. That money never even sees the federal books. It's completely walled off from the get-go. Okay, so when you change where the money flows, you change what people fight for. And this new flow of wealth totally realigns the incentives for everybody involved, creating what the architects of this system call a political siege. And this is where the game theory is just brilliant. All of a sudden, everyone's interests are pointing in the same direction, and it's against the corrupt official. Just imagine you're a politician and you try to block one of these projects. You're not just stopping some abstract plan anymore. No. Now you're fighting corporations with cash in hand, a generation of young people who see a future here, and local communities who look at you as the one guy standing between them and their own money. That's the siege. You're surrounded. But let's be real. What if some powerful official just tries to break the rules anyway? What if they try to grab that 80% community share? This is where the system shows its teeth. It's designed to make corruption not just illegal, but personally, financially catastrophic. The system has this built-in alarm, a legal tripwire, called a breach of sovereign trust. And that's not just some fancy phrase. It's a very specific contractual violation that gets triggered the very second, any official tries to mess with that automated payment to the community. And here it is. This is the kill shot. The moment that tripwire is hit, the legal framework is engineered to shift all financial liability, we're talking lost investments, legal fees, all of it, away from the state and directly onto the personal assets of the officials who interfered, their houses, their savings. The government is protected, they are not. Which brings us right back to that quote from the beginning. Making policy changes fiscally suicidal means the personal risk is designed to be so insanely high that it's just not a rational choice anymore. You're not just risking your job, you're literally risking personal financial ruin. The system also has a shield for its corporate partners. Any move to just cancel a project license is legally defined as a state-induced market failure. And what that means is that the financial fallout, which could be billions in damages, lands squarely on the desk of the government office that broke the contract. It protects the investors and the community and makes the bureaucracy itself pay for the chaos. So what is the end game for a system that's designed with such sharp teeth? It's to create a new reality where generating prosperity for everybody becomes the most profitable and by far the safest path for anyone holding power. I mean, this slide just nails the shift in thinking. The old game is all about scarcity, controlling the bottlenecks and fighting over a pie that keeps shrinking. This new game is engineered for abundance. By lining up the incentives of the people, the government, and private industry, the entire political math changes from a zero-sum fight to a collaborative race to grow the pie for everyone. And that leaves us with this really provocative question that's at the heart of this entire framework. What if the solution to our biggest problems isn't about finding perfect, infallible people? What if it's about building better systems? Systems that are designed from the ground up to make doing the right thing the absolute path of least resistance. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.